Hello, Serge here from the Backyard Driving Range. All right, I'm going to talk about a subject today that I think in probably well over the 2,000 dailies I've done, I've never talked about it in this light. I'm going to talk the subject I've talked about many times, but I'm not in this light. And again, it just came up to me in a golf lesson the other day when I was talking about wide knees, outward pressure. So I'm going to start by saying I'm seeing a lot better wide knees, but I don't see the outward pressure properly maintained and possibly not even properly done in the sense of how much pressure do you have. All right, so I'm going to relate this one to a rubber band. Okay, so let's first decide what wide knees outward pressure is. We know that in a peak performance golf swing versus normal swings, most swings tell you that they want the insides of your feet, and we're going to determine, because we play with flared feet, that the insides are going to be the ankles or the heels, whatever one you want to look at, do. That's the distance determinant, not your toes, because that's a fake out. If we were straight, you see how much wider it would be? All right, so we're going to go by the ankles. What everybody used to say is about the width of the ankles should be about the width of your shoulders for a 5-iron. That's for a driver with us. All right, first and foremost, the right foot's always, the right foot, which for a righty, left foot for a lefty, the back foot is always in the same place. It's always directly under the right shoulder. You put a club underneath into your armpit. Even with the foot turned out a little bit, it should still come down and kind of hit the inside of the big toe. If it was straight, it would kind of hit the outside of the big toe. All right? That foot's in the same place every time. That's what allows us to get preloaded heavy right. So when we stand here, all we got to do is just turn and lift. And the second we start turning, we're already there. All right? So we're loading immediately. We're not like everybody else starting in the middle or even forward, and then they're shifting their weight back and forth. Because I don't believe you can make it the same amount of shift to the same pot every time. But if you start there and stay there, you'll be okay. Plus, if you start there and you actually turn too much, you're going to lose your balance. So the only foot that gets narrower and wider is the front foot, and remember, we're measuring it by the heel. So once we get into the wide knees outward pressure, all you do is you just take your knees and you're just going to stretch them just a little bit, just a little. And what I want you to feel when you stretch them is from the upper groin up here near high top of your leg to about the inside of your knee here. You're going to feel that stretch, both of them, just stretch. And you want them both to feel the same stretch. Even with the weight on the right side, you should feel just about the same stretch. You might feel more weight here than this one, but you should feel like that you can feel that from the upper groin, inside upper groin, all the way down to the top of the knee. Feel that little bit of stretch. So what I'm saying is if I take a rubber band, and this rubber band is just right here, okay? All I want to do is just go like this. Just that much stretch. Just that much. I don't want to go like that. All right? Because again, if I'm doing this much right here, I'm only doing that. Doing that, look what happens. The legs, the feet curl out, bow out, the knees bow out, and you're not riding a skinny horse anymore. You're riding a big, huge horse. All right? We just want, boom, just like that. It's the same thing as the ready position. All right? You walk out in the field, you get there. Nobody walks out into a field or playing tennis with the feet together. They just walk out. It's about shoulder width, and they just bend down, and that's it. And you see, as you bend down, that's it. Just going to make sure that the knees go wide enough. If they went outside, you lose your balance. So that's all we want. This is a very, very simple principle. All we do is wide knees, outward pressure, just a little stretch. Just a little that, not that. Whoop, and there you go. See what happens? Stretch too much, it breaks. Okay? That wasn't planned, that just happened. Now, let's talk about how do you maintain it and how long do you maintain it. I've seen people, students, Sergites, think that you maintain it all the way to the finish. Well, if you do that, you can't get off your back foot. Basically, you have to maintain it from here to just about impact. In other words, I'm loaded on it, and I start to push off a little bit once I make my bump in transition, and I push off, okay? But I'm not. If that knee starts breaking inward, like it's supposed to do ultimately after impact, which allows the foot to come up as the right foot, the right knee, the hip, the shoulder, the right hand, arm and hand, and everything else is chasing the club up to the finish that I'm swinging up to my tee finish, right? We don't hit the ball. When we swing in the forward upswing, we swing you know, we swing right through the mitt, right up to the ear, and then recoil. All right, it just goes all the way there. So you just have to make sure you hold that wide right knee, and hold it to right about there. And I mean, once this reaches there, it's faster than that the ball's at the club's at impact. So you just make sure, you got to make sure you hold it to here. It's turned in a little bit, but it shouldn't be breaking down and through, like you see with most of the rotational swings. And most of the rotational swings, they're all in here like this. The foot's up some degree like that. Some of even is that high, almost to a finish position, approaching the ball. We still at the most that'll happen is we will just roll completely to the inside. We're all the way to still here, even to the heel. And then from there, boom, and that thing just, that whole foot explodes up with the leg pushing up from the foot all the way up for everything chasing the club to the tee finish. So that is the concept of wide knees, outward pressure, and how much pressure. It's just a little. But that all it takes is just a little to right about there, and then you just let it rip to the finish. You explode chasing the club to the finish. Do that and you'll really see that you'll be maintaining your balance better, the levelness of your knees, and your solidness of contact. Ball striking should really improve, because that's going to keep the spine and the head still, relatively still till impact. And we don't want it moving hardly at all. The less the better. Rock on a string, right? Okay, that's it for the search for today on the wide knee outward pressure. What's just right, and that's the best way to help you hit better shots and shoot those lower scores. That's it for today, and I'll be speaking with you all again soon.